Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. So an update on redoing the bulkheads and the wiring for the mast. So I've got the bulkhead, the compression post, and the trim piece all painted. We did 2 coats of epoxy and then 2 coats of poly, and they look nice and shiny. So down here was really cool. We did penetrating epoxy at first, and when we first got this, it was all, what would you say, soft and falling apart, and now it's just solid. So that's cool. We had a little bit of drippage, but oh well. Where that goes, you won't be able to see it. But otherwise, they came out real nice and shiny, which is always wonderful. You can never tell with the camera how shiny they are in real life. But they're nice and shiny. So, then we'll come over here and I'll show you. I was working on the mast. I hooked up our 4-pin connector here. So we ran our 4 wires. We have the anchor light, the ground, the mid-mast light, kind of like your steaming light, and then a deck light. And then we spliced everything in with the old wires and ran it out. And I did a little bit of heat shrink right there. So I'm going to get a little bit of a liquid electrical tape, and I'll go from the top there up and finish that off. So, and then we have our first coat of paint up on the top after I filled in the hole with epoxy, and that's almost ready. So I'll pause the video and then I'll head up there and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, we are on the top side. So here we are. I just kind of taped off a square that was big enough to get where the mast step goes, and then the hole that I filled in for the electrical plug. And there we primed it, and then I'll do it white. Eventually I'll do some no stick there maybe, but in all reality you shouldn't be stepping there in the first place, so it's not going to really matter. So this is how I'm fixing that hole on the top and filling in the mast step part there. So I'm going to get another coat of primer on, and then I'll be back. Alright everybody, we are back. So we got our first coat of white down. So there's just going to be a white square there where we did everything. The mast step will be right here. So that'll be covered. And then over there will just be a little white bit where you're really not supposed to walk anywhere. Anyway, and right there we'll be putting the plug for the mast electrics. So far it's coming along good. Well, we're almost to getting back the bulkhead in and hooking up the electrics up here. I'm excited. So I'm gonna let this dry and I'll come back tomorrow and we'll do one more coat. Alright everybody out there in YouTube land. So I did my last coat of paint and I pulled up the tape, and I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. For now, this year, we'll just leave it like this, but eventually I'm going to plan on taping right there, and then we'll redo that with some blue non-skid. And it'll look good. But for now, I'm pretty happy with it, so we'll continue on with doing the bottom part of the mast plug, and then putting on the mast step, and getting the bulkhead back in the cabin. So this will be the end of part 2, and then I'll start part 3 when I start adding everything back in. If you guys have any questions about the process, leave it in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe, it helps us out. I'll see you guys later.